This video is going to address the difference between an anterior and posterior orientation of the pelvis and how that compares to relative motions at the pelvis. So if we're looking at the pelvis, an anterior orientation is when the entire pelvis as a unit tips forward. So from the side, that's going to look like we're here, the entire pelvis tips forward, giving us better leverage for internal rotation because the distance between this front bone and this bottom bone are getting smaller. What that would look like if that was actually relative motions at the pelvis is going to be internal rotation. So the sacrum, this middle bone, is going to tip slightly forward and the two outer innominates are going to come together. Now, if we're talking about a posterior orientation of the pelvis, that's the entire pelvis tipping backwards as a unit. So from the side, that's going to look like here, and then it's tipping backwards. That is different from the relative motions of the pelvis during external rotation and counternutation, which is when this middle bone, again, the sacrum, is going to actually come backwards, and the two side bones relative to it are going to go forward and open up like that. So one more time to go back through everything. The anterior orientation is going to be the pelvis coming forward. What we would see normally would be something like nutation in the case of relative movements, and internal rotation of these side bones, which would look like this. If we're talking about a posterior orientation, the entire pelvis is tipping backwards, compared to relative movements of external rotation, where this middle bone, the sacrum, is tipping back, and the two innominates are externally rotating.